to this shit of a hodgepodge.
I have a hard time saying that it sucks.
It's not very good.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right, welcome into the Fitness Fanatics. It is October 30th. We are one day away from Halloween. Coming up later, we're going to talk about Halloween candy and what not to do with Halloween candy tomorrow. Okay, so also coming up in the show, we have two of our 10-week challengers that are prominent ticket texters. So they'll be in studio here. We're getting ready to start week 5 of our fall 10-week challenge. So we got two guys coming in here that if you're a ticket regular listener, you probably will know their names. I'll let them introduce themselves when they get in here. So we're going to do a little coaching with them here coming up later in the show. Nicole and I went to the game yesterday, and it was depressing, and that's kind of where we'll leave it with that.
It's a nice day, at least. It was nice weather.
It was.
Where was that?
It was, we left our house, and I had this sweatshirt on because I was like, oh, it's 60 degrees.
You'd be shocked to know that there was some drama before we left for the game.
Always drama.
Right.
Yeah. We had a sweatshirt on, and I left, and we stopped at Casey's to get something to drink. And I got out of the car and I was like, oh my God, I'm so hot right now. And it was literally like 10 seconds walking. Well, when we pulled up to Casey's, there was a guy walking in with a Husker helmet Halloween mask on.
We didn't know it was a Halloween mask though. So it was really funny because he was just walking in like with all the confidence in the world. And it looked like he was just wearing a Husker helmet. And then we got inside, it had like a scary face underneath. And he was with someone wearing like little devil horns.
I'm like, look at this guy walking in. Oh, you just see that in Nebraska.
Yep. So that was kind of funny. Anyway, so we had to go back home so Jeff could change.
We went home, yes, and I changed it.
The game.
Well, I mean, and sitting where we sit in section 35,
yeah.
I mean, it was sun's right on our face, and then we didn't get shade until about third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, the sun's setting, and then we got sun again.
It peeked back around.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, I would have been just.
It was a beautiful day.
It was though. It was perfect football weather. So we had a good time.
I saw a couple people wearing shirts. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it said Saturdays are for sadness and disappointment or something.
Yep.
That was a little foreshadowing.
And Iowa won.
We'll blame them.
Just kind of a bad Saturday overall.
Not great.
But anyway, so last week Nicole wasn't here. She had gone to Des Moines to see our friend Mara Lee. That was she's fighting a battle with brain cancer. Mara Lee did pass away yesterday, which we found out while we were tailgating. So kind of a somber day, but we've had her on our show, and kind of the reason I bring this up is, a week ago, she was working out. Like she knew, she knew about 10 days ago that she only had a couple weeks left to live.
Yeah.
She didn't care. She went and worked out literally a week ago, knowing she wasn't probably going to be here this week.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring that up, and for those of you who had heard her on our show, when she was going through chemo and everything, she was going to class, going to work out, because that's just her. But it's sad that, people that are listening or people that go to Farrell's or go wherever, we kind of take those workouts for granted.
For sure.
Like we're like, oh, I was up late. I can't work out. I'm tired. And I have an appointment, and then we just don't go to class. But here was one of our best friends who knew she literally had less than a week to live. And what did she want to do? She wanted to work out because that's who she was. She was also a Buffalo Bills fan. When she was on our show, she said she really wanted to live long enough to see Buffalo win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, and right now they're kind of the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They've already won at Kansas City. They've won at Baltimore, which are the other two top teams in the AFC. Teams in the NFC, I mean, nobody really scares them. So we're gonna be kind of like surrogate Bills fans.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
Which the kids already kind of have been rooting for them a little bit, right? Is that the
yeah.
yeah.
And I always tell the kids like, oh, Josh Allen, he went from throwing 5 picks against Nebraska to being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we were at that game when we played Wyoming, and my daughter was with me, and she doesn't remember. And I was like, Katie, you've seen Josh Allen in person.
Yeah.
He looked horrible in person too. And it's incredible what he became.
I know. He threw 5 picks against Nebraska. Now he's one of the best quarterbacks. So yeah, it was.
We'll be rooting for them a little
my
bit.
son's a Ravens fan. So if the Ravens play the Bills, obviously we'll probably cheer for the Ravens. But other than that, we'll be kind of surrogate Bills fans. And the kids kind of like the Bills too, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so it's just kind of some sad news for us that we're dealing with. So we'll probably have a funeral to go to next week in Iowa. But Mary Lee was somebody that can be celebrated because she was always rowdy. She was always the life of the party. We met her, when we started going to Farrell's way back in 2007. Longtime member for us and coach for us. And, even though we lived in Nebraska for the last 4.5 years, we're still friends with her. She's came to see us here a couple times, but always wanted to work out no matter where she was.
Well, and I think we talked about this when she was on the show. It was the 4th of July weekend was the show she was on. And so you can always go back and re-listen on the podcast or on the YouTube channel or wherever.
Yeah, maybe we should share that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Mark to get something set up.
I found the YouTube channel today, or the YouTube episode. Anyway, we kind of talked about this, but, she's been active for her whole, adult life and exercise and stuff. And we talked about that. And so I think that's why it's really important to build those habits and build that routine into your life and I've noticed this too with myself, especially during COVID when the gyms were, closed down for that 2 months and it was very, up in the air what was going on and everything. But I think that if you can have that base where that's the one thing that you can control, moving your body, exercising. And I call that willful suffering. Like you put yourself through a little bit of uncomfortableness, but it makes everything else a little bit easier. And it took her, she didn't just start her journey when she was diagnosed with cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019. She didn't start her fitness journey then. She had already been super active for years and years and years. So I think that's just an important thing for people to kind of think about, build those habits. And then when you're going through times that are hard, that's the thing that you have that's that you can control. Like I know when we were going through the whole COVID thing, I could still control that. I could still control moving my body. I could go out for, a run, or we got our 45-minute workout in each day. And I think that's just what I kind of want to take away from that and what she did, because she was an inspiration to me too. We're friends on Apple Watch. And so there would be lots of times I'd be teaching the 6 a.m. class and the class would get over and I would get a notification on my watch that she'd completed a workout, knowing that she had just completed radiation the day before, or even just gotten a really bad prognosis for her final, kind of test and stuff. She worked out Monday and went into hospice on Wednesday. And the only reason she stopped working out was because she couldn't after that.
She probably would have wanted to do a virtual workout in hospice if she
could have
knew what was going on.
100%, because that was so ingrained in part of her life. And she knew that whatever the day brought, she could make this choice to be uncomfortable and control that. And then everything else will just be easier because you put yourself through that uncomfortableness. And so I think that's just something that's to be celebrated, something to be learned from people.
Yeah. And doing stuff that we can control is exactly what AD talks about all the time. There's a lot of things in this world that's crazy that we can't control. I mean, we literally don't have control over 90% of what's going on.
Yeah.
But, we do have control over if we decide to go do a workout, whether it's just walking for 30 minutes or 15 minutes or just doing something active to get your body moving or we also control what we eat. Like nobody forced me to eat a slice of Valentino's pizza at the game yesterday.
You forced me to eat a slice of Valentino's pizza.
No.
Yes, you did.
You wanted the pizza.
You made me because I needed to soak up a little bit of the alcohol that I had drank.
Yes, and I don't know.
Tailgating.
We should have got this guy's name, but I don't know who it was. But we were walking through kind of the viaduct, under the viaduct where one of our members has a tailgate, and they just had beer. So
yeah, I'm not a big beer drinker.
Yeah, we just found out that Marilee passed away literally like an hour ago. So I was kind of on a mission to find some tequila for Nicole to drink. And we were just walking down and we look over this table and there's this giant bottle of Patron.
I kind of am hoping
giant.
that it was just refilled and not actually Patron, because I feel bad because he gave me a lot.
Giant. I mean, just a giant bottle.
Yeah.
So I went up to him and I was like, hey, you think we can have some of this tequila? And her best friend, or one of her best friends, just died this morning. I kind of felt bad. He was kind of like, that's kind of a weird thing.
It was
to
a
hear
stranger
right
for
before
sure.
a game.
I know.
And he was really cool. He poured some shots and stuff like that. So
not that you need alcohol to get through, but
no, you don't.
It was hard because we're tailgating, so it's kind of hard. Like I don't want to be the downer of the group, and stuff. So it was complicated emotions yesterday.
There was a lot of drinking going on yesterday because we saw probably 3 people fall.
You saw 3? We did that one lady. I don't think she was overserved. I think she was just
literally right in front of us.
Yeah.
There was some sloppiness.
Yeah.
Fell down.
Yes.
And then we know the other guy.
Yes, there was a guy.
There was a guy walking up the steps, and I didn't see him fall, but Nicole did. And he's walking up the steps to get to some seat, and then he fell down and is backwards.
He didn't fall down. He
Did he twist around the railing?
Yeah, he twisted around the railing, fell, and then sat down. I don't even think that was his spot, but I think he just sat down to make it look like he didn't fall, but he fell.
So a little later on, Nicole has to go to the bathroom. And I was a little worried about her finding her way back to me.
It was fine.
Yeah. So anyway, the same guy that we won't obviously use names, but
I don't know for sure if I remember.
I mean, the chances of him listening to this show
it's
are
fine.
probably
It doesn't matter.
zero. But anyway, so the same guy that we saw fall in front of us was lost.
He was kind of wandering around.
He had a few drinks. So
I was trying to help him get back to his wife. She was real big mad. She was big mad.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I know.
So,
I had his phone and I'm trying to text to figure out where, and I thought I hope I got him close to where he needed to go, but then he wouldn't give me his phone back, so I couldn't I hope I got him
imagine
close.
if you're married, right? And this lady, her husband's drunk, he's out roaming around the stadium somewhere, and she hasn't seen him for 45 minutes.
She was like, it's
right?
been 45 minutes. She was mad, understandably.
And then she gets a text message from a woman who's trying to help him find her.
Yeah.
Right. I only can imagine what was going through her mind.
I don't know, because I didn't get to meet her. He sat down randomly next to 2 dudes. So I have a feeling it was not where he was supposed to be, but I tried.
So hopefully he got that
and I did text you and tell you I'm trying to find I'm with Fall Guy. I'm trying to find him back to his seat.
With Fall Guy.
Yeah.
So small world. We saw him fall down, and then she saw him later as she was heading down.
Yeah, I just recognized the hat. He was wearing a Tampa Bay hat, so that's how I knew it well. And he was
for him.
Very confused. So it was a rough day for a lot of us Saturday.
But it was. I mean, good too.
The bright side of the game was whenever we were going in, and I kept telling Jeff, I'm going to say, go Big Red and see if I can get people to say it back. And Jeff was mortified at the thought that I would be like, go big. I didn't. I never would.
No, that's embarrassing.
I would not. I will return a go Big Red, but I would never initiate a go Big Red. But it was funny because he thought I was going to.
Harrison, would you initiate a go Big Red?
Probably not. Especially
Right.
there's been some games where I'm like, we're down 20.
No,
Please-
this was
please stop.
this was going into the game.
Oh, going into
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Nah, I'm not that guy.
Still not. No, me either. I know.
Just walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah, maybe I'll reciprocate it if someone
I'll
says it, but it's
reciprocate.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
It's
know.
not me.
You'll give the echo, but
Yeah.
you won't
Me
be the
too.
lead person.
Never
Yeah,
initiate.
there's enough of those people. I've walked down Lincoln enough. They got it covered.
Yeah.
I don't need to join in.
I know. Funny story. A couple weekends ago when Jeff was here with Crystal, Ben and I were at the Thomas Rhett concert in Sioux Falls, and we were leaving the concert on Saturday night, and a lady started Go Big Red, and it was returned. And then she was like, I told you, with her group, because we were right by her. So she was, and we had won that day. So it was kind of a appropriate time to celebrate.
Yeah.
But that was in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And she still got some people. Ben and I set it back, but
Anyway, so Harrison, we got 5-week testing coming up here. So we're going to get you on the scale, see if you lost or gained any muscle mass. Any questions for us here? We just got a few minutes before our guests come in.
Yeah. So is it kind of like what we did at the beginning where you're just checking your muscle mass weight? Yeah, that exact same machine.
Yeah.
Okay,
yep, we're gonna
cool.
do that. So you'll get that printout again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm it's like anxious. You're definitely a little anxious. You're like, man, I hope I've been feel like the biggest thing for me is definitely just like nutrition still. I've definitely gotten better at it. But there are times where I'm just tired and I just don't eat.
I know.
I just like skip my meal and
Yeah.
it's like I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like, I'll make a protein shake and I'll just sit down on the couch and I'm asleep.
Yeah.
And then I just like, well, great. I missed a meal completely.
Yeah.
So hopefully I see some more muscle mass growth. That's the big thing I'm looking for.
Mhm.
I don't really think I need to lose more weight.
No.
I'm good where I'm at there.
Right.
So that, I'm curious to see if I gain some muscle mass. I feel like, I can kind of see like small things. Obviously you see yourself every day, so it's hard to tell. But definitely a little anxious. But yeah, as far as questions go, I mean, does it really start to ramp up more? Do we accelerate and get even crazier?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, for sure. Like this group has been a really good group. We'll probably talk about this with our guests too, but like everyone seems to be working really hard, getting, stronger. So especially this next week with strength training, we'll be going heavy still. So the strength training is going to ramp up in terms of like lower reps, higher resistance,
Okay,
and
cool.
yeah, so that's where like for you with that muscle growth, the first 5 weeks sometimes can be tricky for muscle gain, because especially for someone like you who sometimes when you're a person who has more weight to lose, your body's prioritizing that fat loss first. And so you could see someone like Mark lose, I don't even know how much weight he lost in the first 5 weeks, but like you can see people lose 10, 15 pounds in that first 5 weeks, but that's just because that's just how their body's prioritizing, but
Right.
for someone like you with muscle building, yeah, we've been incorporating strength training, but that's gone up kind of slowly, where that cardio part kicked in kind of right away. And so,
just getting in shape. to
yes,
get
yeah,
going.
yeah. So you're building that endurance in the cardio sense, but that doesn't always show up on the scale. So like for you, it'll be interesting to see where you're at. But we tell our 10-weekers where you're at 5 weeks is really not an indication of what is going to happen in the next 5 weeks, because it's not like, because everything builds on each other. So we just want to make sure, basically we call week 5 troubleshooting. We want to make sure that you're either gaining muscle, losing body fat, losing inches, those are the things we want to look at. There's not one like thing that says you succeeded this 5 weeks or you failed this 5 weeks. There's just not, because we're all different. So we'll see where you're at. And then, if your muscle mass has gone up, then that's great. Your body's responding despite not always being perfect on your nutrition, which is fine, but
or
then
your attendance, which is fine.
yeah.
Just kidding.
But or if you didn't have a muscle gain, then that's just where we prioritize that. That you need to buckle down on that nutrition a little bit more. And that doesn't take away what happens on the scale, doesn't take away from what you've done in the last 5 weeks. Like I've seen you work out in class. I've seen you earlier this week when you were doing like push-ups with your coaches and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
man,
Jim-
you were working hard.
Jim kills me.
Yeah.
Every time I'm Jim, it's like we started out and he's like, "What do you want to do? We do extra reps. You want to join?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And it's like we'll do a minute plank, and then next time it's like 2-minute plank. And now we're up like 3 minutes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jim, man,
I know.
you're killing me. He could probably do it for 5.
He's done a 6-minute plank. He did a 6-minute plank in the last Fit Challenge. He's kind of proud about that. He worked himself up to that, but. Yeah, so I've seen your effort. You're definitely working hard. So no matter what happens at week 5 on the scale, it doesn't take away from what you've done, you know, and you just kind of have to keep that perspective, keep that in mind that that's just one measurement of progress. And that does not have to be everything that you focus on.
Any Halloween plans for you? We got shows tomorrow night.
Yeah, we still got ticket weeknights tomorrow, so I mean it'll be pretty normal. Probably just some more Halloween questions for the people. I wouldn't be surprised to see some costumes tomorrow as people walk in. Might see some. I'll be curious. I think we do have Nuri back this week, so we'll have Sunday morning pancakes. Will be Monday night pancakes for this one, but we'll have those guys, and then we should be pretty much on schedule for everything else. So nothing's changed. So if you like ticket weeknights, Mondays, you'll still get to hear the student athletes. It'll be same thing. Hopefully DP, keeps getting better. Thoughts and prayers out to him. Don't want to dig in because obviously I don't know everything, but just, keep him in mind. Definitely station definitely misses him a little bit. It's always different without DP. I mean, he's here from, sun up to sundown, it feels like. So hopefully he gets better. So no DP tomorrow, but it'll be me and student athletes still be here.
All right.
Very
well,
cool.
We're going to take a break here. We're going to be joined in studio by 2 of our 10-week challengers, and we're going to chat with them a little bit. So stay with us. If you have any questions or you have anything you want to talk about, you can send us a text at 402-464-5685 on the Starter Heyman text line. We'll be right back. Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer 2 of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity,
not to make friends, but just to get something to eat?
or a retiree who fell ill and had to
choose between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We are joined in studio by two texters known to the Ticket audience. Their screen names are on the stream, so if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, we are joined in studio by Cheeseburger. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, Cheeseburger's name is Grant. So throughout the show, you know, I might call him Cheeseburger Grant. We'll just see how it goes for me. But did you watch the game yesterday?
I was actually at the game.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Were you dressed appropriately, or were you wearing a sweatshirt?
I wore a sweatshirt into the game, and we were sitting there. And I took my wife, who was for her first football game to ever go to. So I was like, all right, well.
Wait. This is the first game you've taken your wife to?
She is not really a big football fan. Now, if it was wrestling, she'd be like, all right, let's go. But
okay.
Yes,
okay.
that's
She's
true.
more
football,
wrestling.
she's like,
Yeah.
you're just crazy.
But
I'm kind of the same way. I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever, it's fine. I'll
Well, it
have
was
fun
her-
if we go. It's
it
my
was her
first
game this year.
for this year.
Yeah, and probably her last, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yep.
After the way
If
it
I
was.
told her on the first quarter, I was like, hey, you're our good luck charm. You
Mm-hmm.
need to stick around. She's like, no. And then it started going downhill. I was like, okay, you could stay home now.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was a good day,
the
though.
same.
Beautiful weather. It's good to get out. It's amazing to see 90,000 people come out every single week
Yeah.
to be disappointed.
Yep.
So we were one of them.
Yep.
We used to drive over from. I had my nephew drove over from Des Moines, Iowa, and they left at 7:30 yesterday morning. They didn't get home till 10:30.
Yeah.
So it was a
That's
long day for them to see them lose.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
It's a risk you take.
And you know, I kind
being a
of was a
Husker
little
fan.
depressed yesterday. Like I'm just so tired of losing.
I thought we weren't going to
Well,
talk
we're
about
not.
football.
On to our
Okay.
next guest.
Right.
So our other guest in here now, Grant he's doing the 10-week challenge. He goes to the Pioneers location, and he attends the 6 p.m. class. Our next guest does it virtually.
Mhm.
has done every workout from home. So it's going to be kind of a good dynamic because we do offer a virtual workout. We have people from all over the country that do our workouts every day. And our next guest, his texting name is Bubba. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good, good. Bubba's name is Adam. So again, I might call him Bubba Adam.
Are you just called Bubba like by everybody? We have a friend named Bubba.
We do have a fit member. His name's Bubba.
Yeah, yeah.
It all started when I was playing soccer when I was younger. Just had a game. My mom blurted it out, "Way to go, Bubba!" And so now, like family reunions and stuff, my name badge and that is Bubba.
Yeah.
So it's kind of your nickname.
So you kind of go by Bubba. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call you Bubba then. I'm assuming that Grant doesn't go by Cheeseburger all the time, right? Or do you? Is that your nickname, or is just?
I've been called Cheeseburger, Burger, Hamburglar, anything burger related. That's
because your last name
of Wasserburger.
Yeah, is right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
really why.
Growing up,
I'm guessing.
I thought it was the worst thing in the world having the last name.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I
Embrace
think it's
it.
funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a lot with the name.
Yeah. Well, my last name Essing. I mean, people made fun of me too.
Oh yeah,
all the time. So it wasn't good.
When I was growing up, I still do, but I have really big cheeks. But when I was little, I had huge cheeks, and so my nickname from my family for like as long as I can remember. Now that I'm older, nobody calls me this anymore, but they all used to call me Pumpkin Eater because it looked like I had just 2 pumpkins in my cheeks. So that was my nickname. So it's just funny how you get nicknames, but it never like bled into my real life.
And elementary kids are the worst.
Yeah.
Well, my nickname was S Stink.
That's because you were a Husker fan in Iowa.
That was rough.
In the 90s. Right.
Bubba, did you watch the game yesterday?
I listened to it on the radio. I actually indulged myself when I had a 90-minute massage yesterday at 2 o'clock.
That was probably a much better use of your time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow, massage.
Yeah.
That's great.
I would have rather done that than been at the game.
I would have, yes.
No.
I'm sitting in there just,
you were complaining about your back hurting.
I mean, just some of these things you're just like,
you did
I'm
it
just
right.
not as young as I used to be.
Nope.
Now it's just a little like I said, it's hot. Yeah. Your back hurts. Where before it was like, oh, this is so cool. We're hitting Memorial Stadium. And you're just all excited. And my cousin's son, it was his first game. He's like 7, right?
Probably
6 or
older
7,
than that.
8,
He's
9,
older
10.
than that. Yeah, I don't know. But
He's a little kid.
Yeah.
So we saw them, my uncle and his grandson went for the first time, and we saw him as we were walking up to our seats, and he's just so excited. He has a little black shirt on, Yeah. So when we were kids, going to the games was awesome. Now that we're older, we're just like,
it's still fun.
I told
it's fun, right? The fun before the game starts.
No.
I'll tell you that.
All right.
I
We're
told
not
the wife
talking
it's
about
an experience.
It is. That's true.
And then she was like, my back's starting to hurt. Are we going to stand up? And I was like, just think of this as Catholic church. You'll sit, you'll stand,
Yes,
you'll
right.
sit, you'll stand, you'll
Yeah.
kneel. She's like,
Yep.
are you sure? I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
know.
That's right. Yes. It's stand,
It
sit,
is an
stand, sit.
experience. That is for sure.
And I'm
But-
the type of person that the person in front of me stands, I'll stand.
Yeah.
If they sit, I'll sit.
Yep.
I'm not one that's going to be like standing up when everybody else around me
Well,
is sitting
that's not
down.
even true because in our seats, there's nobody in front of us. So you are the initiator of the standing then because you're
Well,
the start of the
I
standing.
can't see though when people stand up. I mean, sometimes I can peek between shoulders
Yeah,
to
that's
see
true.
what's going on, but and sometimes I'll just sit while everybody else is standing.
Yeah, you
'Cause
were a little
yesterday,
grumpy.
She's like, "Come on, cheer!" And I'm just like,
You were a little grumpy.
I just
Yeah.
can't. I'm not excited right now.
Yeah.
So I was grumpy yesterday. So what you guys have any
Anywho.
big Halloween plans going on here? Like you both have kids, right?
Yep.
Taking the kids out trick-or-treating.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go to the gym early so I can get done and then come back, take a quick shower. And then I got to get dressed up as Jason. And
Ooh, there we go.
we're going with a family friend and we're going to go trick-or-treating. And I'm going to go as Jason. My kids are, I don't even remember.
Are they the school
You don't
counselors?
remember.
Spider Girl,
School counselors?
Marshmallow, and Harry Potter. So,
Okay. But Jeff doesn't know who
who's
Marshmallow is.
DJ? Wears a white helmet.
He doesn't know.
Marshmallow.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
you don't know.
I don't know, Bubba. What about you?
So we're not probably going to do anything.
Well, how old is you got a really young?
I've got almost a 5-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Um, we actually went Friday night to our church, had a little trunk or treat thing. Something a little bit smaller where he wouldn't get scared.
Yeah.
And have to get up every night.
Yeah.
Or all night. And with working out at 4:45 in the morning at home, I don't want to deal with all of that sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're a little safer route.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, we'll probably just stay home tomorrow night then.
Now Nicole has
that's
a
nice.
message for you guys about candy.
I normally talk about this in class too. I actually haven't this time, but so, it's going to be Halloween tomorrow. You're going to have candy, or you already do. For most people, you already have candy. We always procrastinate, and so we'll probably be trying to find Halloween candy tomorrow.
We get the crap candy.
Yeah, we're really bad about
the leftover
Yeah.
bottom of the shelf.
I know.
That nobody really wants.
Well, because I
at
don't
least it's not
want
in
it
your house
in the
anyway.
house, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I wait till the last second, because I don't want it in the house, because if I get into it, then it won't last. But so there's the thing to remember when you're around your kids' candy, or then it's in it, it's not just one night, so it bleeds over depending on what you do for your job. Like if you're at any type of place with communal people, then people start bringing in the candy that no one else wants from their house, and then they bring it in, and it's at the office too. So the thing to remember is that Halloween candy is not special candy. Now, I know, I understand the Reese's Pumpkins phenomenon, but I have something else to say about that too. But we are all grown adults, and we do not need to eat something just because it's in an orange little Snickers package or a purple Snickers package when it's
these guys
Easter.
looking at you
I know.
right now. They're just in disbelief.
I know.
I disagree 100%.
You are a grown adult. You can buy your own candy whenever you want. Now, I understand, yes, that those shapes of the Reese's, but we're probably all similar in age, probably within, I don't know if I had to guess, probably we're all of us besides Harrison, because he's a baby, but we're all around the same age.
Probably all within 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
Of each
So
other.
when we were growing up, yeah, there was certain candy that you only got at Easter. You only got that. When I was growing up, I only got candy literally on Christmas, Easter, the 4th of July, and Halloween. That was the only time I ever had candy, and you had to make that last. Even it was a joke. I don't know why, because my dad is not a health conscious person, but when I was growing up, we would stop at the gas station, and he would get a candy bar for our dog, Fred, and he would get me Raisinets. So I didn't even get.
I think Fred should be eating the Raisinets.
I know.
Instead of a candy bar.
No, Fred would get candy. I would get Raisinets or raisins. So I think that kind of sticks with us. We kind of go back to our childhood. We're conditioned now. We're like lab rats. We're like, oh, it's candy. We got to eat it. We got to eat it. No, you don't. You're grown adults. You do not have to eat it.
If you're out there listening and there's just some candy that you have to eat on Halloween, you can text us at 402-464-5645.
And I'll tell you you're wrong.
And let us know if there's any type of special candy that you just have to eat. It tastes better on Halloween. It's like, and you guys,
that's fine. Halloween is fine. You can fit some candy into your macros.
Today could be your free day, right?
You can fit.
Absolutely.
You don't even need to have a free day to eat a candy bar. You just have to fit it into your day.
Except now I start looking at the nutrition label on the
it's not
candy,
worth it.
I'm like 2 pieces for all of that.
Yeah.
No,
no, that is real, because it's almost not worth having to unwrap the package for the amount of food that you're actually going to get. It's kind of a waste of time. But listen, I'm telling you right now, those pumpkins, I'm pretty sure I've already seen the Reese's Christmas trees in the stores already. So there's no shortage of Reese's
Christmas trees are coming.
Holiday. Yeah.
My wife's like, can we put a Christmas tree up now? It ain't even Halloween yet.
Yeah. So that's all. It's just a little public service announcement. Halloween candy is not special candy. We're all adults. We can go buy candy whenever we want. We just don't have to be lab rats, just eating it just because it's there, Walk through the kitchen, grab a piece of candy. This is what he does. We don't do trick-or-treating anymore because our kids are 16 and 19. But the famous Jeff move would be to pilfer through the candy on the way to bed. And so then he'd be taking a couple things of candy down, and then the nightstand for like 2-3 weeks would just be littered with wrappers. Right?
Have a dad.
Is that right?
It's a little funny,
Yeah.
funny story here before we go to break. When I was a kid, we got this box of chocolates for Easter, right? Easter eggs in this little box, or maybe it was at Christmas. So put it on top of my dresser, and I started seeing like little ants on the wall, like just one ant here and there, and I'd kill the ant.
How old were you, though? I feel like I've heard the story enough. I thought you were old enough to.
Oh, I was probably 16.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, I'll make it quick
No.
because we got to get to break. So I'd see an ant every now and then. I wouldn't think anything of it. Oh, it's coming in from the window, whatever. Then I started seeing more, and then I went and looked, and this must have been months. My candy had been on top of my dresser. I went and opened the box of candy, and it literally looked like the queen ant was inside the chocolate. And it was just a swarming.
Just an ant farm.
So I always tell my kids that story if they're leaving stuff in their room, wrappers. So yes, I had an ant farm in my bedroom from all the candy that I just didn't eat, and it just sat up there for months.
Yeah.
So throw away your wrappers. Don't leave your candy out. It's the moral of that story.
No,
All right.
The moral of the story is Halloween candy is not special candy.
Yes. It's not special, but you don't want to leave it out for months. All right. Okay. We're up for Against the Break. When we come back, we're going to talk to these guys to see why they decided to join Farrell's in the 10-week challenge. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Tickets. We'll see you
Sunday
soon.
morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is the equal opportunity employer.
The division sucks. The Big Ten West sucks right now. And the fact that you should have a chance to win this thing.
You should be in there.
Next year is the final year of the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's not.
And I can't see right now projecting the next year one team having an epic rise. It looks like it's going to be very similar to this year of a hodgepodge.
I have a hard time saying that it sucks.
It's not very good.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
A commitment to volunteer service is one of the many things that makes Nebraska so special. Volunteers give their time, energy, and resources, and they ask for nothing in return. The Step Forward Awards ensures they're recognized for all they do, Those honored this year for the impact they've made on their communities are David Hogsett of Lamar, Ray Lynn Trevere of Norfolk, Rhonda McClellan of Lincoln, Zoe Ballard of Lincoln, North Platte Buffalo Bill Kiwanis in North Platte, Fusion Medical Staffing in Omaha, Balsaman Enterprises in Grand Island, Chris Peterson of Lincoln, Dodge County Amateur Radio Emergency Services in Fremont, and Henry Potter of Willow Island. Serve Nebraska thanks all nominators, nominees, and sponsors for helping us celebrate volunteerism. To learn more about the Step Forward Awards and this year's honorees, visit serve.nebraska.gov. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to the Fitness Fanatics. We're joined in studio by a couple prominent texters, Cheeseburger and Bubba. They are doing the 10-week challenge right now. Before we dive into how their 10-week challenge is going, we have a little segment we like to find out a little bit about their NFL teams and how they became a fan. So I'm going to start with you, Bubba. Your favorite NFL team is?
The Green Bay Packers.
All right.
Which is Nicole's team.
Yep.
Harris and I are Bears fans. But Harrison,
honestly, we're pretty even.
We kind of know our place, right?
Yeah.
Harrison, we're not like, well, he doesn't have a mic, but we know our place. We know when they play, we're going to lose, and it's fine. We've accepted that. So it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Anyway, how did you become a fan of the Green Bay Packers?
I just had so many friends that were either Broncos fans or Chiefs fans, and I wanted something different. They were the next closest team, so it kind of just worked out for that way. And they were rather successful when I kind of started taking an interest in NFL football. So perfect marriage.
And QB at that time would have been Brett Favre, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you've been blessed to have two quarterbacks your whole life.
Whole fandom.
Since you've been alive, you've had two quarterbacks for the Green Bay Packers.
Not
for the most
alive.
part. Yeah. How old are you, Adam?
I'm 38.
Yeah, not alive.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
Because Favre was, I think, 92.
Okay,
Yeah.
since you've known what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So
been
it
a fan.
must be nice, unlike my team,
Meanwhile-
who's had about 37 different starting quarterbacks.
Almost
in that
literally.
same time.
That's probably actually
There was
accurate.
a point a couple of years ago we started counting, and it was astronomical.
It is astronomical.
We've counted.
People you forget. That person played in the NFL. Like, I mean, just and then the Bears over the years that we obviously we drafted Mitch Trubisky instead of Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. So that was a smart move by the franchise. And before I was born, I know we had passed on Joe Montana as well. I did hear that story. He was a second round pick. The Bears had a QB that was mildly successful in 1977 or 78. And they're like, well, we don't need Montana, and the Niners get him, and there you go. So 2 draft blunders right there. So all my Chiefs friends, I always say you can thank me for you having Pat Mahomes. So
that's why I'm a Packers fan too. That's because that's when I started watching, really paying attention.
And I started liking the Bears in 1985 when they won the Super Bowl, and they haven't been good since.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yep.
Fun. All right. Cheeseburger. Who's your favorite NFL team?
If you couldn't tell.
Right now, it is Cleveland.
Right now. Okay. Okay. What's that mean?
So I grew up loving the Cowboys.
Oh,
I was a big
gosh.
Emmitt Smith fan.
Yo.
But I've always been a players fan.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was big into college football. So I mean, growing up, it was college football, and so I'd follow the players throughout, and I just loved Emmitt Smith. And then I stopped watching NFL. And then
Why? Because the Cowboys were not good anymore?
No, I just
okay.
I lived in a small town and we
Okay.
had 3 channels growing up. I mean,
Sure,
I'm not
me
that
too.
old,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
had 3 channels, so I was like, I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Huskers are on, okay. And then get a little bit older, I was like, I need to watch NFL more.
Right.
And then I was like, all right. Then I started watching the Bengals. I was like, all right, Zach Taylor, who's the coach, Nebraska. Okay, cool. My wife's like, okay. She went for my birthday. She went to go get me a blanket and saw the orange. She's like, yep, that one.
Oh.
And it turns out to be a Cleveland Browns one. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. So now I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. But I was like, I'll follow it. They're
That's a
the
strange
underdog.
story.
That's why we love these stories,
Yep.
because it's never.
It might be the strangest story
one
that
is-
we've had.
That was a pretty good one.
So I blame my wife for my team
Right.
not being great. But
Yeah.
I mean, no. But no, I've always just been a college football fan.
That's
It was,
funny.
in my eyes, the last form of pure sports. It's just sports, nothing else. No
Yeah.
money involved, no nothing. It was
Well, that's kind of
that was the pureness of college
That's
football.
kind of gone away now.
Yep. So
Yeah. No, that's a great story. And I do like the whole player aspect. It does make it better to like follow it along when you're rooting for different players, not necessarily for their team.
Well, in fantasy football now, you're kind of like, if you guys do that, it's like, and Nicole hates it when I used to say this, but I'd be like, if I wasn't in fantasy football, I had no interest in this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, great. That's more
Super.
football I have to watch.
No, I don't
on
mind
Sunday
now.
night.
I just go do something else. It doesn't
Goes
really
to bed
bother me.
early,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Like
Yeah.
the Bears or the Packers and Bills play tonight. She'll be in bed.
I do not stay up to
by
watch
halftime.
football.
No.
No.
She doesn't really care that much.
Nope.
All right. So who's your favorite player on the Browns?
Probably have to be Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
From the Chiefs.
Yeah,
So,
from the Chiefs.
yeah.
And your favorite player on the Packers, Bubba, is
That's
Aaron
a tough
Rodgers.
year.
I actually am not a fan of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
From an
Yeah.
athletic standpoint, phenomenal. But for me, all that off the field drama, like
It's been drama, yes.
I'm over it. I don't like it.
You don't want the hair?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I saw it when he walked off a plane. And I went, oh my.
There's a lot to unpack
Yeah.
right there. There's a lot to unpack.
All
I
right,
agree.
guys. Well, we're up for a break here. So we'll be back here top of the hour. We're going to get a little into Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping and talk to these guys, see how everything is going back on 93.7 The Ticket, Fitness Fanatics.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. If you missed any part of the show, we've just kind of had some crazy fun conversations here the first hour with these guys. You can look us up on our podcast page, which is under the Ticket Weekends tab on theticketfm.com. Also, we are on all the podcasting platforms that you listen to podcasts on. So if you have any questions for us or these guys, you can reach us at 402-464-5685 on the Starter Heyman text line. So both these guys are doing the 10-week challenge. We're getting ready to start week 5. So first 4 weeks, I'm kind of talking to both of you guys now. The first 4 weeks of Farrell's is kind of like having a baby. Nicole's like, what is he talking about?
You've never had a baby.
Okay, not personally carrying a baby
Okay.
and delivering a baby. I'm talking about like
I've never heard this analogy before.
Okay, you're gonna
so
love
keep
this.
Going.
You're
keep
gonna
going.
love this.
Okay.
She's just
I'm on pins
terrified
and
right
needles.
now. Like, what's he gonna say about this? Okay, so it's
Let me hear what you think having a baby is like.
It's when the baby comes home, right? In the first few weeks of having a baby at home, because I've had 2 babies at home. What are you doing with them? You're changing their diaper. They're screaming at you. I mean, not
So
us.
far, none of this sounds like Farrell's.
No, this is
Okay.
because at Farrell's,
I'm not changing anybody's diapers.
we're getting ready to finally get some tangible evidence that the program is working.
Okay.
Right? Because we're going to get on the scale coming up here at the end of the week, not necessarily to see how much weight we've lost, but to see how much fat we've lost, see if we gained any muscle, see if we've lost inches, see how many more push-ups you could do, see how many more sit-ups you can do. That's tangible evidence because a lot of our members,
like the first smile.
That's what I was getting to.
Okay.
So you're taking care of this baby. You're getting nothing in return. It's up all night. You're not sleeping. It's just, it's tough. We all can admit the first few weeks is just tough because you're not getting anything out of it. And then all of a sudden, the baby smiles. And you're like, this is all worth it. So this is kind of like that. Is that a good analogy?
I don't know.
But
It's
usually
stretch.
when a baby first smiles, it means it's pooping.
Yeah,
So
it's not always.
It's still
yeah,
not
yeah.
good news.
But
it's
you-
better
extremely
news.
accelerated because it's actually more like when they become like toddlers and you can have a conversation with them. That's like the cool stuff.
But when they smile, though,
sure,
yeah,
you
fills
can
your
work
heart
on
up
that
with-
one a
You're
little
just-
bit. We'll work on that.
your heart melts, right? And you're like, oh, all these blowouts, in the car and all that stuff is like, oh, it's worth it. Because
Okay.
now you're going to see some tangible evidence. So that's coming up this week. But before we get to that, so Bubba and you guys have we've been advertising on the ticket for a year now, every 10-week challenge. And avid listeners that you are, I know you've heard about Farrell's before this challenge started. So kind of what pushed you guys over the edge to say, all right, enough is enough. I've heard Farrell's for a year now. Now's the time that I'm going to take the plunge and start to do something to better my life. Bubba, we'll start with you.
I just, at a random chance, was listening to The Drive with AD and Raph one morning. And it was probably the second, maybe third time I'd ever listened to that show in the morning. And they were talking. I think you were in the studio. I don't think Nicole was.
No, I wasn't. But yeah, with Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about what keeps you out of the gym, kind of what fears you have, that kind of stuff. And AD asked, for the listeners to text in and kind of give why. And I said, it's the intimidation factor. For me, as a bigger guy, I should be the one that's in the gym. I'm the one that needs that work. And I've had experiences in the past where I've gone in trying to better myself, and you get people that look at you, that stare at you like, oh, why is he here? He doesn't need to be here. This is for XYZ, for people that are fit or whatever. And it always kept me out of the gym. Never wanted to go. So I tried to do stuff in home on my own, buying DVD workout programs or whatever. And there just was no accountability, nothing to keep pushing me.
Right.
I've always been a quitter, and something that morning spoke to me. And then I texted in, things went a certain way, and the next thing I know, I'm chatting it up with AD,
and me too.
and
we talked.
We had that talk that night, and I decided to commit. People are like, oh, why'd you do it? Oh, I could say it's for my wife, for my son, whatever. Ultimately, through this first 4 weeks, it's come down to it really was for me and nothing more.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's how it is for anything. You know, like growing up, my parents were smokers, and my mom would always like make excuses about why she smoked. And like I would be that teenager, whatever, being like, well, why can't you quit for me? And she would always say, it's never going to work until I do it for myself. But she never wanted to. So I know. I'm like, okay, whatever. But so that is true. She knew that. It didn't help her stop, but it is true. That is very true.
Well, and we were having some hard conversations.
That was a deep day. Not even that. Like other people had messaged in that day too. Like that was a good show. That was important for people to hear that show.
Yes. So you're doing it strictly from home.
Wasn't the plan, but it's kind of worked out that way.
Yeah, wasn't the plan.
I
was trying to talk you into the gym. You're like, no, I think I can do it at home. And you've been doing it. You're 4 weeks through. You're always the first one. Usually you're always the first one to post.
Yep.
I like that you post your Apple Watch workout. So you can see how many
accountable.
Keeps you accountable, see how many calories you're burning and that type of thing. So that's always good to get on there and see that. So we do have a full scale. So how's kind of what you're doing with Farrell's different than, because I've always seen like you're still doing it from home, right? So the accountability is different being at home versus being in the gym, because you don't see any of us.
Right.
You know, where Grant, he comes in and he sees us every single day. So it's like, you know, we get that interaction where you're just at home. So I mean, I've always thought it's tougher to do it from home than doing it in the gym. So I got to give you kudos for we're through 4 weeks now. I don't think you've missed a workout. You're doing them every single day.
Yep.
Which is awesome. So how has it been different this time versus all the other times in the past that you've started something and you've made it, like you told me, 1 day, 2 days, and then that was
Have you ever made it 4 weeks into something before that you've tried to do on your own from home?
No.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's literally been 2 days, maybe that third day, and I get halfway through the workout. I'm like, I'm already tired, so I quit. And then the next day shows up. I got stuff to do. I don't have time. So I don't know. It's just, there comes a point where I felt like I had an accountability to AD after his conversation with me. And there's that fear of letting him down. You know, we saw him talk on the orientation morning, and just that energy and the spirit that he brings to it. To have a conversation on the phone with him and even through text messages, to hear that same even one-on-one, then like,
right,
he's the most upbeat, positive guy I've ever met. And that just, it has a way of motivating you and not wanting to let that person down. And that's how it initially started. And then it grew into, I'm not doing it for him anymore. Now I'm doing it for me. And that's probably what helped me for the first 2 weeks was I told him I'm going to do it. I texted you and said, because you're like, trust me, you need to be in the gym.
That's what it was.
I know.
And I'm like, man, this guy really needs, because after we talked,
just because you were so like worried that you weren't going to stick with it.
So that's why I was so adamant. So I said, trust me. And then you texted me back and said, you need to trust me.
Ooh.
I still have, I didn't delete any of our text message conversations.
Yeah.
So from the first one, when you reached out to me and I told you who I was and whatnot, I still have that whole cycle of messages, and I still go back periodically and I look at the message I sent you after that. And I said, Jeff, I know you trust me. I need you to trust me 100%.
That's awesome.
And I will do it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And you're like, I trust you. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's rock.
4 weeks later.
Yeah.
4 weeks later, just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
So how is how's everything going with you as far as like nutrition? You know, are you seeing changes, clothes fitting, you know, that type of thing? Because you're not supposed to be weighing yourself, so we won't talk about that. We'll get to that here next
You
week.
both are weighing yourself.
Oh,
I
well,
can tell by the
one
look
time.
on their
One
faces.
time.
Okay. Well, you looked guilty. Anyway.
One time.
Okay.
Cheeseburger just has the guilty look.
Anyway,
always.
that's
It just
true.
looks something's
Ornery.
wrong. It's
Ornery.
probably his fault. That's just
Yeah.
the look that he
No,
has.
we know that Bubba had, we talk about this at the orientation. It's my, Mark likes to tell people that I'm mean and I tell people they're not special, but Bubba found that out. You found out that you're not special, right? That first week or so, you were like, there's no way I can't eat all this food. Because even Kristen was reaching out to me and she's like, I don't know what to do. He's, it was like the second day and you wanted to like go back to doing something that you've done before. That didn't work clearly because here we are, and so I'm glad you stuck with it.
No,
But
I don't think I heard this story.
I don't think you did. Well, now you just did. So
Okay.
that's it.
So
But
what was going on? What was going on the first week?
October 2nd. So before that Sunday, before we even started this whole thing, I had the MyFitnessPal all going through it, trying to get everything set up. Our schedules don't really allow us to just go on the fly. Like we have November calendars that are already full with stuff we got going on. We're planners straight through. And so knowing that, how can I make this transition, this new adventure, the easiest way possible? So I was sitting there Sunday night trying to go through it. And I told my wife, I said, this is the thing that'll make me quit. It's not the workouts. It's not waking up for.
And you didn't even try it yet. You hadn't even done it yet.
It's the getting onto MyFitnessPal, putting all the information in and just trying to plan out, this is my macros. How do I eat this? Because I was get up for breakfast in the morning, go to work, go through drive-through. Lunch, go through drive-through, stop at Casey's, get pizza. If it was a stressful day, I'd stop, go through drive-through, get a pop and a cheeseburger or something, and then go eat with my family. Like it was rough. And so I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make this fit. And the first week was a struggle. My stomach hurt so bad because I was eating so much food.
That was what
you remember my
even
story.
Kristen
I was to go to the hospital.
Yeah. It was not the hospital.
Revolting.
It was urgent care.
My stomach was revolting because it had vegetables and it was a foreign substance. I thought it was poison.
Even Kristen, in
Trying
my
to get rid
message
of
to
it.
Kristen or in class, she was like, I think he's just going through whatever the same thing Jeff went through.
It was bad. And it was all because, I'd have a cup of strawberries, then I'd have 3 cups of a spring mix salad, plus then 2 things of that Gary's quick steak, and then this, and then this.
It's a lot for your body to like actually have to work to digest real food instead of eating processed food all the time.
And I was so used to intermittent fasting in some regards, not necessarily like 16-8, but
Right.
I'd go 10-12 hours without eating and I wouldn't think nothing of it. So now I'm having to eat all this extra stuff. I'm like, okay, I can't snack. Snacking will ruin this for me. So let me put my snacks with my meals. And then you're just eating massive amounts of food. I'm like, this isn't good. Like my stomach, it felt like somebody was literally kicking me in the stomach all the time. And it was like a light switch went off starting that second week. Sundays are usually fun days, cheat days, whatever. Well, I wanted to make sure this was going good. So my first 2 Sundays, I pretty much stayed eating the way I was.
That's great.
Good.
And that next Monday, oh my, it was like I couldn't get enough food. And now I'm even to that point now, I'll eat a meal and it's perfectly macroed out. 2 hours later, I'm just hungry for whatever I can get my hands on. And it's
almost like that's what we say is going to happen.
Yes, I could just, I didn't have to look at her and knew what her face was. And I'll tell you,
no, I love it.
I've
love
gone
it.
through the same thing. Like I've been doing this for 15 years. And last year I got
it gets annoying.
I got on a meal plan with Matt from Nutrition Authority,
which is very similar to our
very similar.
right.
Yeah.
Just a little more accountability with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes I need someone to hold me accountable. We spend so much of our time, trying to get people to work out and hold them accountable, and nobody really holds us accountable. So that's why I like to work with him. And, he put me on a meal plan and I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And I know it works.
Yeah.
And 2 days into it, I'm like, you should have seen me eating my first lunch. I had like some cauliflower, some vegetables, some chicken, this big bowl. And I'm like, this is going to take me an hour to eat. I was complaining for 3 days.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And I know it works, but I was having those same emotional thoughts. And then by about day 4, I was like, I cannot wait to get home to get my cottage cheese and apple. And so, yeah, it takes your body a little time to adjust. And when you start most exercise programs, most people aren't going to tell you that you need to eat 2,600 calories or 2,500 or whatever we put you on, because then it just seems overwhelming. But, you hit up a drive-through and you're eating 2,500 calories in 10 minutes.
If you were going through the drive-through multiple times a day, and if you went back and tracked that day, you were eating well over what we've given you for your macros,
sure.
right? But it was not quality
if you're telling
food.
Me, if you're telling me to eat 2,500 calories a day now, I'm going to take it because
Right.
that's an extra 400 calories for
Okay.
what I'm getting.
Okay, so you're 2,100.
Yeah.
I will completely take that
Okay.
if you're giving it to me.
And maybe we'll see after you do your 5-week testing. So yeah, but now you're 4 weeks in. And this is what we tell people, but what do we know? We've only been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
But so you've been doing this for 4 weeks, and how's the nutrition going for you? Is it like the workouts where it was difficult and hard and overwhelming and confusing and you didn't know what the terminology was? Do you feel like the nutrition is coming along the same way like your confidence is building through the nutrition like the workouts?
It is. It's making me want to go out and research. Okay, so I personally love Big Macs.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, going out, I now have this recipe for a Big Mac salad.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it is spot on. I could not distinguish the difference
I love
between a Big Mac
cheeseburger
sandwich
salads. Yeah.
and the Big Mac salad. And it is, and I'm having this 10-inch plate of food and it's
Mhm.
mounded with salad.
Yeah.
And it's only like 400 calories.
You'll have to
and
share
all the
that on
macros.
our 10-weeker
Yes.
page because I'm
It's-
sure cheeseburger was once in on this
Cheeseburger,
Big Mac
he's
salad.
thinking,
So
what about
yeah,
this cheeseburger salad I can eat over here?
right, yeah. So yeah, it's just that's like what we try to tell people. The more you do it, it gets easier. Everything is overwhelming when you're first learning how to do it. With the workouts, it's a little more built in. You just have to push play and just keep moving for 45 minutes.
That's actually extremely hard to hit that play button sometimes.
yeah. Well, it's hard for people to get out of bed and get in their car and drive to the gym. And so,
Especially when you see me on
Oof.
there in the thumbnambell.
Oh, geez.
Actually,
I'm just kidding.
if it's the two of you, I usually feel, oh, this is gonna be a great workout. Like I'm gonna enjoy this workout. There's a couple of them on there that I'm like, I don't ever want to see your name on that.
Well, I hate to tell you, you probably will.
Because they're tough, right? They're hard classes.
There's a couple of them like I'm going fast,
Yeah.
and I swear you guys have it on like 1.5 or 2.
You're talking about Whitney, week 3. I'm guessing that was probably one of them.
You won't see her again. She doesn't teach the rest
She
of
might have
the
been one of them. I'm trying to think of the other one, and it was a kickboxing.
Grant knows Whitney. She teaches at
Yeah.
his class at
Yeah,
6 p.m. Yeah.
I love
Right.
I don't know who it was this week at the 6 p.m. It was an older guy and taller, and I walked in. I think it was on Thursday, and I walked in and I was like, "Thank you." And he's like, "Are you being serious?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm sweating like
Yeah.
crazy," and it was the warm up.
Yeah.
and I was sweating. I was
Yeah.
like, "Thank you."
I wonder if that was Chris.
Probably.
Chris Peterson.
Yesterday? I mean, Friday?
When you
Friday,
came
'cause I
I
had
had
to
to
go-
go. Yeah, because I had to go to
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that
trunk
was
or treat.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yep. And I was just like, "Thanks."
Yep.
I like the hard workouts because
Right.
I want to be pushed, and that's what I love about it. You have somebody up there, and that I don't ever take the motivation. You can do it, but watching other people struggle
Mhm.
and just kind of telling them, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And you're keeping each other. That's what I love about being in the gym. It's seeing those people that are still struggling.
Mhm.
And you're not seeing these jacked up, roided out guys that are just, I'm like, no, everybody's struggling here. And
Yeah.
if they're struggling, that means I can still struggle, but still work harder
Yeah.
to continue.
That's very good.
That might be why I like the Saturday morning live ones.
Yeah.
Because I see the people in the background
Yeah.
in the mirror in the gym, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to always keep pace with them if
Right.
I'm not doing it
Yeah.
the correct form or whatever. Like
Yep.
I can slow down and it is okay.
Yep.
Because on the videos right now, it's obviously it was COVID or whatever.
It
and
was,
it's closed
yeah.
down. So
Yep.
it's just you and the instructor in a black screen almost in the background. And,
Yep.
and that's all we get is that, come on, you can do it kind
Mhm.
of thing. And you don't
But I'm
actually see the
telling
other
you,
people.
as we instructed those were really hard to instruct. So when we're encouraging you on those virtual workouts, we're talking to ourselves. We're keeping ourselves moving
Yeah,
and
I couldn't
going.
even imagine
Yeah.
trying to have to communicate to
Yeah.
us.
It was hard.
Because I'm like
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Like you
Well,
It was hard because you don't have feedback from anyone else. So you're like really pushing yourself to know how it's going to feel to the person that's doing the workout from home. So
Well,
that was hard.
For the virtual ones, like, yeah, when we recorded those, we wanted it to be, and it's a little more professional setting where it's like, we wanted the instructor to just be focusing on the person at home, where the going forward, like after the 10 weeks, for the virtual classes, all of those classes are recorded in the gym setting, like the Saturday classes.
Yeah.
So all the kickboxing, all the strength training, those are all recorded with all the members in the class. So that now it's a little more interactive where the instructor, and plus we had never done it before. So like we were asking our instructors just, hey, come in, you're used to teaching to 30 people, come in, and now you're just going to teach to a camera.
Yeah.
And you can't see the person, but it's funny. I've heard some comments over the last couple of years where somebody will say they thought we were watching them.
Yeah.
Because we'd be like, if we're doing donkey kicks, like if we're starting to feel it in our glutes, that means you're starting to feel it at home. So when we say something like, all right, this gives you a little pain there, doesn't mean you need to stop.
Right.
And then people at home are like, wait a minute, is there a camera in
Yeah.
here somewhere? Can he see me?
Yeah.
But our instructors do such a good job because they've taught so many classes, and we know like if we're tired, you're going to be tired. But it is a different dynamic, like from the 10-week challenge classes to a live class on Saturday. But going forward, all the classes are like that Saturday class where you're going to, the instructors interacting with not only the person from home, but now they're interacting with the people in the gym. So it's just a little bit different dynamic.
Yep.
All right. So we got a couple minutes before break. So Cheeseburger, why did you decide to join the 10-week challenge?
I've always known I need to get back in shape, and I was told I was type 2 diabetic a couple years ago, and I went on a strict no carb diet, keto, and my only cheats were McDonald's chicken nuggets. And I mean, I lost 50 pounds quick, but didn't keep it off.
Right.
Gained it all back. And then earlier this year, I was talking about it. I was like, I need to go back to the gym. I need to find something. And I kept hearing about it. The Farrells. I mean, I can't, who's the one in here?
Mark.
I would hear him talk about it on the radio all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, that'd be kind of cool. And then in July, I think it was 10th or 13th. I can't remember. It was a long week. My wife's diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And we had to have that real heart-to-heart conversation. It's like, it is stage 4, so you never know what's going to happen. So she's like, with you being diabetic, you need to do something just in case. So that was my big motivation to go to the gym. I needed to go do something to make sure that I'm being healthy enough that I'm not going to,
that she's not have to worry about you while she's trying to take care of herself.
And she's been like, you need to go to the gym. And usually, I mean, Nicole laughs at me all the time. I'm there half an hour early. She's like, you don't need to be there.
Grant was here before us this morning.
Yeah. And it's just my military background. It's like, if you're on time, you're late. If you need to
I'm
be
never
early.
not going to give you a hard time about it. But yeah, you keep doing that. That's fine.
I want to go early, and I've been contemplating on kickboxing days doing 2 times the 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, doing 2 workouts, one after the other. And I've heard a couple people doing them. Like, that'd be
look a challenge,
really hard, but I'm like, it would push me to even get better. And
maybe try it once a week and see how you feel, see how you recover and stuff. But
now that I'm past all that, I'm with you. I need to do it for myself. I can't do it for anybody else. I need to do it for me. And my kids are always like, Dad, you have another job, don't you? I'm like, no, it's not a job. You're going there all the time. Oh, yes, but I'm paying to go there. They're not paying me to go there. If they're paying me to go to the gym, I'd be going 8 hours a day. But but no, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I thought.
Good.
And I know AD was saying that 3-week mark, that's when it kicks in. You're losing that
newness wears off.
The newness wears off, and you're just like, yeah. But every time I go in there, I'm excited. I really am, and I know it's going to be rough. And that first 20 minutes, I'm going as hard as I can, and then I start really declining until the last 5 minutes. And then, but it's pushing me to. You have that clock up there, and don't quit. This is how much time you have left. It's not like you're wondering how much more longer do I have to run.
Yeah.
How much longer does it
Right.
take to get here? You have that clock. There's only 5 minutes left. Push it.
Yeah.
That's what helps me keep me motivated and just sticking with whatever we're doing at the time.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
All right, we're up against the break. We'll continue that conversation with Cheeseburger when we come back. 93.7 The Ticket, Fitness Fanatics.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
The division sucks. The Big Ten West sucks right now. And the fact that you should have a chance to win this thing.
You should be in there.
Next year is the final year of the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's not.
And I can't see right now projecting the next year one team having an epic rise. It looks like it's going to be very similar to this year of a hodgepodge.
I have a hard time saying that it sucks.
It's not very good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
A good game with good friends. But isn't it time to up the score when it comes to the food? Wings and Rings is here for every football fan. Catch the game on one of their big screens or snag a tailgate pack to go. They're cranking up the heat and throwing in mad flavor this season. Stop by your locally owned Wings and Rings on O Street, Meridian Park, or 48th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village, or grab some crave-worthy Wings and Rings to go. Make them your go-to destination to watch your team bring home the win. Wings and Rings. Game time just got better.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We are joined in studio with two of our 10-week challengers. Cheeseburger, as he's known on the text line, he's doing in-gym at the Pioneers, and Bubba is doing virtual. So we spent first part of the 10 o'clock hour talking to Bubba about kind of what he's going through and doing it from home and you know, his struggles and questions. So we've been talking to Cheeseburger a little bit. This little bit shorter segment, but so how's things going now? You talked about how you did keto and no carbs, and you lost 50 pounds quick, and you know, where our meal plan is so different because we're wanting you to eat 40% of your calories for carbs.
Yeah.
When you come from eating no carbs.
Yeah.
So like if you're tracking just weight loss, you know, you're not going to be losing weight obviously as quickly, but what we're trying to instill is more long-term sustainability.
Yeah.
And even like, you know, if somebody loses 10 pounds in a 10-week challenge and they might be a little disappointed, I'd be like, you know, Adam, if you lost 10 pounds over 10 weeks, I'd be like, if you lost 10 pounds every 10 weeks, in 1 year, you're going to be down 50 pounds. And every single pound you're losing is the healthy way to do it. And it's the sustainable way. So how's the nutrition for you gone from going from doing what you did before, that you were having that tangible evidence of seeing the number go down all the time, versus now where we're like, don't weigh yourself. You're eating all these carbs and it's so different. How is that going for you?
It's going good for the first 3/4 of the day. But I've my diet, from me being on the railroad, I either have the time to eat or I don't have the time. So I plan all mine out. Mine are completely different from yours. For meals, I snack throughout the day. So mine's more things that I can unwrap, eat, and just keep going on. So protein bars are a big thing with me. Vegetables. I mean, I could eat myself full of vegetables, even though it's not all the calories or protein or carbohydrates that you need, but I can fill myself with those. So I told Jeff, there's days where I don't feel like I'm eating enough, and I don't use my MyFitnessPal all the time. I'll do it if I'm noticing there's something going on and I can tell that I'm not getting enough. So I'll plug in, okay, well, yeah, I'm really down in calories, but I'll eat the same thing, but I'll add more vegetables in the next day, and it fills me up, and then I can sustain that. And I know mine is supposed to be 22 or 2,300 calories a day, and 9 times out of 10, I'm eating less than 2,000 calories. But it's because I'm eating a lot more vegetables, and I like vegetables, and they're really good, and I can eat with protein bars, protein shake in the morning, but that leaves me for supper time, because my wife loves carbs, loves them to death. and I'm like, I need to cut back, but I haven't eaten any all day. So it's like, you know, if you want to make spaghetti, you want to make spaghetti, I can eat a little bit in there, more salad. And it just leaves me for more, I don't know, more open to my supper meals when I'm actually home with the family.
Which is totally fine.
And I know a lot of the times I'm not eating what I'm supposed to be, but I know that I'm getting, or I'm plugging in. It's like, okay, I know I'm getting a lot of protein and a lot of carbs, less fat. And there's days where it's more fat than carbs, but it's just the way I'm eating. And it's hard not knowing about macros ever. You hear it all the time, macros, and you know it's
a thing.
That's what you're supposed to be doing, but you're just like, how do you do that with everything you eat? And I probably, with you, I need to go talk to somebody and say, okay, what do I need to actually eat? Because I could eat the same thing. Working on the road 5 days a week, I would eat the same thing every day. So I could do that, but I just need to know, what do I need to eat? And
it's the whole, like, I like to think about it called add to your meals, like not restricting your meals. So like you said with the spaghetti, that's perfect. There's nothing that you can't eat. You can eat anything that fits into your macros. Like, it's just hard to fit. Well, And Bubba, you talked about this. You had a day where you had to go through and eat McDonald's or whatever, which is fine. You can fit that in. It's not the end of the world. Like you did, and then you moved on, and it wasn't like, so I like to think about that where you're adding something. You're not restricting yourself. You're just adding maybe a little more vegetables, or you're just watching your portion is a little bit smaller. It's not going to be as much as you want necessarily, or enough to make you uncomfortably full, which is how we tend to eat sometimes, those higher carb, higher, comfort food meals. So yeah, but it's important because you're making it work for you. And so then when we do your results at week 5 and see how you're at, then that might be where we're like, maybe we want to make sure you're prioritizing protein. But honestly, if we do your results at the end of this week and you've lost muscle or you've lost body fat and it's working, like it's fine. Your body doesn't know that these are the numbers you're supposed to hit every day. It doesn't know that. Like that's just kind of a starting point. That's where we're starting from. So if you're not hitting those exactly, it's not like your body's like, oh, well, I didn't get enough protein today, so I'm going to take away this muscle. And, our bodies don't know that. So as long as you're making progress, you're making better choices, then you're still going to see results. And you're going to, as long as you're feeling like you've got a lot of energy during class, you're feeling stronger in your workouts, then you know that you're still doing something. So you can be like, this is just a good example too, because some people are very organized, number driven, and that works for you and you like that. And it's like, I can fit it into boxes, like, and then other people are not that, regimented, and that's okay. That's great because the concepts are the same. Prioritizing protein, making sure you're getting enough protein in every day, like making sure you're eating carbs for energy. And you work out at night. So that's the best time. If you're eating carbs right after you work out, that's the best time to eat carbs because your body's going to immediately use those carbs to replenish your glycogen in your muscles. So you're ready to do it again tomorrow. So yeah, that's great. Progress looks different for everybody. We all look like we're all different, and we got to work do it the way that it works for us.
I feel my progress. I look in the mirror and I kind of see it, but
I bullied you into wearing a large shirt this week.
Yeah, you did, and it actually fit.
Right?
I was like, what? I was like, do you have any for fat kids? Because I'm a fat kid. And she's like, no.
Right.
But no,
I said, we have a large. You can wear it. Right.
But
yes.
I feel my progress. I don't see the progress all right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel it every day that I wake up to when I go to bed. It's like I feel
that's awesome.
Better.
Yeah. Yep.
And the cool thing is it's been 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've only been at this for 4 weeks. And it is amazing. Like we'll have members do their 5-week testing, and in any little bit of progress, they get excited. Like, oh, I lost 2 pounds, and they're just excited. And then we'll get some that'll get on there and have the same results. Just be like, well, this sucks.
No, yeah.
Like it's amazing how different everybody is.
Right. Yeah.
And different perspectives. That's where we come in as the psychologists and the counselors and the, okay, well, if you're not happy, what can we do to change it?
Yeah.
Are you logging your food? Are you coming to class every day? Those are the kind of the tips to being successful is show up, do your workout, follow the nutrition plan, and interact with others. Those were kind of the three steps to being successful.
The big thing too for this week for all 3 of you, because Harrison's doing the 10 weeks too.
Yeah.
He's also he doesn't have a mic, but he's in the 10-week challenge too. And he talked in the first segment about being a little nervous about testing this week. So what you really want to make sure you do not do this week is sabotage yourself, because it is very easy to do. Because if you stay perfectly on track this week and you get on that scale, that scale is going to tell you the result of your efforts. If you sabotage yourself, if you eat a lot of Halloween candy this week, we'll have some people who get on the scale and they're like, well, I went out for Mexican last night with my friends and I'm like, well, why would you do that? And it's because in their mind, they can use that as the reason why. And they don't even know what their results are yet. Like they don't even know. They could be having great results, but in the back of their head, they can be like, Well, it really has nothing to do with anything I've eaten in the last 4 weeks. It's everything that I ate that was bad the night before. Right. And that will affect them to a certain extent, but just be aware, because I'm sure you're all a little bit nervous. Bubba, I know you are.
I'm nervous about it.
Yeah.
But I had something, and I shared this when you asked, what's a non-scale thing
Victory.
Victory. And mine was something very personal to me. So for me, Saturday, the numbers can say whatever they want to say.
Good.
I know. So my wife, when she hugs me,
Oh,
for the longest time, she's never been able to fully clasp her hands around me, to fully embrace me. And about 2 weeks ago, she hugged me one morning before I was going to church, and she actually had her fingers and hands interlocked around me.
Yeah.
And I could feel that hug. And that was the moment where I went, honestly, the numbers can say whatever they want.
Good.
That physical change is something that I hold more sacred in my heart to keep
which
pushing
you
forward
should, because that's real life.
yeah.
Like, that's actual real life. Nobody cares how much you weigh. Like, nobody cares what that number says. Nobody is ever thinking, well, I mean, I guess they lived a great life, but if they could have weighed 10 pounds less, they would have been a better person. Like, nobody cares about that number. So that's a great perspective to have. So just keep that in mind. Be careful, because this week can be a tough self-sabotage week for people.
Well, and you know, I've been a self-sabotager. Like, you know, I did Farrell's.
Like last night when you're like, I'm eating ice cream, because you're so mad.
Eating ice cream
I did
last night. Yeah,
I did.
Right.
You know,
that's why today is more strict.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That is fine. But
you know, it's more like, because, you know, when I started, I mean, I was 240 pounds, and, you know, I was 48% body fat, and, you know, I'd lose 30, then I'd gain 15. Then I lose 20, then I gain 20. Then I lose 25, then I'd gain 20. So I was always on that roller coaster. And for me, my mental hurdle, which we all have mental hurdles, was breaking that 200-pound mark. Like the first time I did Farrell's, I started at 230. I was 202 when I was done. I was so close. And then
we moved.
And you
weren't close
you
to
just
that
kind
anymore.
of, no, you eat, and I mean, it's just how it was for me. And I could never get past that. And it took me years, not because it wasn't working, but it was all up here.
Yeah.
And then once I broke through that, it was like, now I'm always under 200. You know, now it's easy to stay under there. But, you know, we're all going to be on the roller coaster. The goal is to have bunny hills, like little bunny
the
hills
end of the
at
roller
the end of the
coaster.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
Not where I lost 30 pounds and then I gained 40 before I did Farrell's the second time.
Yeah.
When it was like life or death for me, literally, like, you need to do this or you're in trouble. Now I'm at the bunny hills. Some bunny hills are a little higher, some are a little lower. You know, so we go through our ups and downs, which however long you guys are with us at Farrell's, you'll have your ups and downs. You talk to any of our members, they have their ups and downs. I mean, everybody's just the same, you know?
Yeah.
We all have our struggles, and I think that's what makes
We're not
us
special.
I think that's what makes us cool gym owners. Yeah. It's because we love to eat.
Okay, Phil Dunphy. I'm a cool parrot. I'm the cool parrot. I'm the cool dad.
Oh.
Anyway.
Well, we watched all that.
I know.
Yeah, but anyway,
That's
like,
how you sounded.
we're just regular people that, I mean, I think about food all the time. Like, you know, when you leave Pioneers, there's Momo's right there. You can smell the Alfredo as you leave and walk to your car. You walk out of Yankee Ridge and there's Amigos,
Runza,
and there's
Amigos,
Runza,
yeah.
and there's Freddy's down the road, and it's just like, I mean, and we're going to be moving. The Pioneers Gym is moving to 70th and Vine, so all those people that live north of O Street, we're coming to you here in about a month or so. But we're moving into the Meadow Lane Shopping Plaza, where in the Meadow Lane Plaza is Valentino's, a Chinese restaurant, Honest Abe's, Scoops Ice Cream, and a bar, right? Everything that is our downfall, my downfall, pizza, burgers,
ice cream,
and alcohol.
Mhm.
Like that's my entire downfall. Those four things, if I could eliminate those four things from what I like, it'd be much easier for me to keep away from the bunny hills.
Yeah.
I don't want to
So-
not ever have pizza again though. So
Yeah. I mean, we like to eat
It's all
pizza
good.
and we like to eat that stuff. That's why we work out 6 days a week, you know,
Mhm.
so we get a little reward on the weekend. So, all right, guys, we are up for our final break. We'll wrap it up with these guys when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket, Fitness Fanatics.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa,
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back in. Final segment here on the Fitness Fanatics. We've been joined in studio by two of our 10-week challengers. They are known as Cheeseburger on the text line and Bubba on the text line. So when we first started the challenge, we had you guys write down some goals for the 10 weeks. So we're about halfway through. So just wanted to check in with you. Bubba, what were if you remember the goals you wrote down, what were the goals you wrote down and how are you progressing towards those goals?
Mine were very simple. Finish, don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I've succeeded very well with that.
Well,
Never missed a
absolutely.
day.
Yeah. So far, so good.
So far, so good on those.
Yep.
And that's awesome. Cheeseburger, how about you? Remember your goals you wrote down?
I had to remember them right before we came back
No
on.
pressure.
But it's perfect attendance,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had it so far, even at home, and feel better about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was.
Those are good goals because they're not, weight related. They're not about losing a number or whatever. It's more about seeing the kind of the fruits of your labor, the progress. So it helps keep you with that reminder. And that's why we do that. So for like our in-gym people, we post them. They're on a big whiteboard. And Bubba had even said, because I made a video of it and he saw his on there. So it's just and it's good because you can see other people's goals too. And that's where it comes into my famous line of "You're not special," because you can read those and you can see yourself in a lot of those goals too. So even if it's not your goal, you're like, wow, yeah, no, that's like, especially the don't quit one. We have multiple people that said don't quit as their goal. Perfect attendance is a good one where people are like, oh, maybe that was a good goal that I could have for myself too. So that's good. You guys have been kicking along the whole perfect attendance for both of you. That's awesome. We had quite a few people that lost their perfect attendance yesterday.
Well, maybe they're doing the virtual class.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll comment on there.
I just noticed when I was doing attendance cards, I was like, oh, 2:30 kick. We have 11 a.m. kick next week. So hopefully people will be getting those workouts in.
Yeah, we do 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah.
Any other questions you guys have for us here? We just got just a couple minutes and we're going to wrap her up.
Mm-hmm.
No, is the times going to stay the same whenever you guys move, Jim?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Class times will be the same when we move to Meadow Lane. So those will not be changing.
Now, Bubba, are you going to come in at all in the next 6 weeks?
Come into the 6 p.m.
to work with us?
I don't know.
That's okay. No, you're doing great.
I actually kind of like for me, just the flexibility. Like if something comes up.
I did notice this week you were doing a couple later workouts this week because usually you're like the first one.
4:15 in the morning comes early a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I'm tired. I'm going back to sleep. And I just find time in the evening to do it. Let my son do some Crayola app stuff on the phone while I do it. And at least he's present to see.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Some of that to kind of help him. Not be what I became and what I can be now. So
our kids grew up in Farrell's. My son, who's just turned 16 last week, our son, he was 5 months old when I started Farrell's. And so I was a stay-at-home mom. And so there were times where I would teach a class. This was in Iowa, our gym in Iowa. I would teach our mid-morning class at 9:30. And he would be up in front of the class in a pack and play, just hanging over the edge, just watching everybody work out, which was really cool. Like they are so used to that. Like it's normal to them. For me, like I was on the treadmill this morning. That's normal. Like it's a normal sound for our kids to like hear us up getting our protein shakes ready. And
that's the sound they hear at 3:30 in the morning.
So that's very cool that you're, showing
now,
them.
Bubba,
that.
any time you've grabbed your 5-year-old for squats or sit-ups or anything?
Not yet.
Yeah.
That's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Jump on the back. Let's go.
Let's
go.
It's always a medicine ball in some of those virtual ones.
Yeah.
I have
Well, you could
anything.
grab a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
A cat, a dog.
You don't need a
your
medicine
son.
ball.
You
Right.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, nice little
And
40-pound medicine
Cheeseburger
ball.
Yeah.
actually brought his son to class last week.
Yeah.
So they kind of worked out together for a kickboxing workout, which is
He-
kind of cool.
Well, and he told me, and I'm actually surprised, but he wants to be a offensive lineman.
Oh, there we go.
For college.
We'll get him
I'm
going.
like, you can go to college and he still wants to be a gamer and a YouTuber. I'm like, you could do both.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to
awesome.
wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Mhm.
Remember, Halloween candy is not special.
You're
But be safe tomorrow
not special
while you're out
candy.
there trick-or-treating. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time on the Fitness Fanatics 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else?